Welcome to Castanet Penticton's Mayor's Minute. I'm Colin Dacre, joined here by the Mayor, Andrew Jacobite.
Hello.
So, the big news this week, the City of Penticton's paying $200,000 to terminate the agreement between itself and the Trio Marine Group for the Skaha Lake Marina. I guess just to start, just explain why the city's taking that step.
Well, I think we, going into this, we all had good intentions. We wanted just to revitalize the marina, which needed some TLC, provide some amenities and attractions to the park. Kind of went off the rails in terms of having a bad process and poor process, which we have acknowledged and hence rectified. And I think sort of started last fall when we took the water slides and the use of green space off the table, and that changed the scope of the project. And so instead of being a $4 million plus project, it goes down to around $1.5 million. And over the last few months, sort of upon reflection, kind of looking at that, given the reduced scope or dollars invested, yet tying up 29 years, and commercial activity and length of lease still being sort of a common theme when doing our Parks and Rec master plan and creating a commercial use policy, really made us kind of look back and say, really is the value still there for the community to tie it up for 29 years on a premier park? And so that's why I think that was sort of the impetus for us to look at ending our relationship. It really gives an opportunity to have a fresh start with what happens at Skaha Park, and so this week we announced that and enacted that.
So you said this started last fall when you guys amended the deal. What took so long to get to this point?
Well, I should say it started last fall in terms of the scope of the project changing. Well, I think recognizing the water slide and use of green space was probably the most contentious issue. We took that off the table and revised the agreements and recognizing it was still a contentious issue. Both parties, we did concede to building in some sort of termination agreement, and really wanted a chance for the dust to settle and give Trio an opportunity to sort of move forward and try to build a revised plan. Also for us as a city, we had some time to reflect on, again, the scope of the project going from $4 million down to 1.5, size changing as well, and looking back on reflection, is that really worthwhile tying up for 29 years, and would we be better off actually starting with a clean slate and starting fresh? And that took some months to go through, and so we've executed that. So now there is no 29-year lease. There's nothing happening at that marina park apart from Trio still has one more year on their license to use to operate the marina. So
are you and council and city staff happy to put this behind you now?
Again, going into this, everyone had good intentions. We recognized we had a very bad process. If we look at downtown as an example, the revitalization there, we probably talked about it for a year and a half before we even started with the community. Before we started, and we did it in phases. Lakeshore Trail, we talked about it with the community for a year, where at Skaha Park, we talked amongst ourselves and the developer and staff for about 2 years, and then went out to the community. So totally backwards process, and so we've made lessons, we've learned lessons there. So I think that's good, and we're tackling not just our official community plan, but our Parks and Rec master plan and a commercial use policy. So answer those decade-old issues, which has been part of the underwriting theme that's been causing some divisivity and animosity in the community. So that part's good. Certainly having this drag on for 2.5 years and be divisive or build some animosity and debate in the community, I think if we could do it again, we would do things differently. And again, it's certainly been a lesson learned in terms of the value and power of engagement and proper engagement and process. And we've seen where we've had good process, like the downtown revite as an example, success. Where we've had poor engagement or poor process, like Skaha, we've seen where it went off the rails and it's been a big problem. So moving forward, we've addressed that, and it's not just rhetoric. It's something over the last year we've really put a concerted effort into ensuring that we are, with our official community plan review, a memorial arena, parking, all these sorts of things where we're going out to the community first, getting input, and then starting to build a plan, and then going back out and getting input. And
so again, then just finally looking at that marina and Skaha Lake Park come the end of 2018. Well, I'm assuming the process will start well before that to, I guess, find out what's next for that. I mean, the marina needs work, so something's going to have to happen there.
Yes, you know, we're one of two cities in between two lakes, and so to have a marina and access to water is very important. Even if the city has to run it, we don't want to be the ones running it. We'd like to have another group or party run that, and so you know, we have an opportunity now with a clean slate to start fresh, go out to the community, and certainly in some of our conversations, town hall, there's been people who said, I could run a marina, or I'd like to run a marina, so this is an opportunity for them to put their money where their mouth is, and other groups who have watched this and said, yes, that's a premier park, that is a marina that needs some revitalization and some love, and I'm willing to, or our group is willing to do that, and hopefully that we can start fresh and get that happening, and you know, maybe by next spring we have a bit more of a framework in place, and we can actually look and say, well, the costs associated, this is going to get mitigated by the fact that there's a new partner coming involved, a new revenue stream, and this is what it looks like, and this is going to be the benefit and impact to the community, and hopefully have that community support, because they've been part of the process and they bought in it from start. And most people have been very supportive of the marina getting you know, some attention. And so we're confident that and optimistic that over the next, certainly over the next 29 years, ending our ties with Trio and going fresh is going to be better for the community on all levels.
That was this week's Mayor's Minute on Castanet Penticton. If you have a question for the mayor you'd like to submit, you can send it to letters@castanet.net. Till next time.
Read letters to the editor in our letters section under the opinion button in the yellow masthead. Email your letters to letters@castanet.net.